Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada युगधर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 14, The Forest of Enjoyment, Text 29. It's a prose, I'll just read it. Kadachit Ishwarasya Bhagavato Vishnoschakrat Paramanav Adidvi Parardhapavarga Kalopalakshanat Parivartitena Vayasa Ramhasa Harata Abrahmatrin Stambhadinam Bhutanam Animishato Mishatam Vitsatsa Hridayastam Eveshwaram Kala Chakra Nijayudham Sakshat Bhagavantam Yagya Purusham Anadritya Pakanda Devataha Kanka Grida Bhagavata Vata Praya Arya Samaya Parihritaha Sankete Nabidathe. Word to word meanings. Kadachit, sometimes. Ishwarasya, of the Supreme Lord. Bhagavataha, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vishnoho, of Lord Vishnu. Chakrat, from the disc. Paramanu Adi, beginning from the time of minute atoms. Dviparardha, the duration of life of Brahma. Apavarga, ending. Kala, of time. Upalakshanat, having the symptoms. Parivartitena, revolving. Vayasa, by the chronological order of ages. Ramhasa, swiftly. Harataha, taking away. Brahma, beginning from Lord Brahma. Trinastamba Adina, down to the small clumps of grass. Bhutana, of all living entities. Animishataha, without blinking the eyes, without fail. Mishatam, before the eyes of the living entities, without their being able to stop it. Vitrastha Hridayaha, being afraid in the heart. Tam, him, eva, certainly. Ishwaram, the Supreme Lord. Kala Chakra Nija Ayudham, whose personal weapon is the disc of time. Sakshat, directly. Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yajna Purusham, who accepts all kinds of sacrificial ceremonies. Anadritya, without caring for. Pakanda Devataha, concocted incarnations of God, man-made gods and demigods. Kanka, buzzards. Gridra, vultures. Baka, herons. Vataprayaha, like crows. Arya Samaya Parihritaha, who are rejected by authorized Vedic scriptures, accepted by the Aryans. Sanketena, by concoction or with no basis of authority, indicated by scripture. Abhidathe, he accepts as worshipable. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation: the personal weapon used by Lord Krishna, the disc, is called Hari Chakra, the disc of Hari. This chakra is the wheel of time. It expands from the beginning of the atoms up to the time of Brahma's death, and it controls all activities. It is always revolving and spending the lives of the living entities, from Lord Brahma down to an insignificant blade of grass. Thus, one changes from infancy to childhood to youth and maturity, and thus one approaches the end of life. It is impossible to check this wheel of time. This wheel is very exacting because it is a personal weapon of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes the conditioned soul, fearing the approach of death, wants to worship someone who can save him from imminent danger. Yet he does not care for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose weapon is the indefatigable time factor. The conditioned soul instead takes shelter of a man-made god described in unauthorized scriptures. Such gods are like buzzards, vultures, herons, and crows. Vedic scriptures do not refer to them. Imminent death is like the attack of a lion, and neither vultures, buzzards, crows, nor herons can save one from such an attack. One who takes shelter of unauthorized man-made gods cannot be saved from the clutches of death. Purport: it is stated, Harim vina naiva sritim taranti. No one can save himself from the cruel hands of death without being favored by Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Mam evaye prapadyante mayam etam tarandite. Whoever fully surrenders unto Krishna can be saved from the cruel hands of material nature. The conditioned soul, however, sometimes wants to take shelter of a demigod, man-made god, pseudo-incarnation, or bogus swami or yogi. All these cheaters claim to follow religious principles, and all this has become very popular in this age of Kali. There are many Pashandis who, without referring to the Shastras, pose themselves as incarnations, and foolish people follow them. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has left behind him Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Not referring to these authorized scriptures, rascals take shelter of man-made scriptures and try to compete with Lord Krishna. That is the greatest difficulty one encounters when trying to promote spiritual consciousness in human society. The Krishna consciousness movement is trying its best to bring people back to Krishna consciousness in its pure form. But the Pashandis and atheists, who are cheaters, are so numerous that sometimes we become perplexed and wonder how to push this movement forward. In any case, we cannot accept the unauthorized ways of so-called incarnations, gods, cheaters, and bluffers, who are described here as crows, vultures, buzzards, and herons. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषः शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरम्। Hare Krishna. Welcome once again for this daily Bhagavatam discussion. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, Vasudeve kata prashnaha purusham strain punatihi vaktaram prachakam protram tatpada salilam yata. So just like when Lord Vamana, Lord Vishnu himself, touched with his toe the universe, the covering of the universe, then it broke. Then Karnarnava ocean, that is water, came into the universe. And this is known as Ganga. So just like when Ganga enters the universe, it is described, this Ganga purifies the three worlds, upper planetary system, middle and lower. So all the three planetary systems were purified by the touch of Mother Ganga in the form of water. So similarly, when there is a discussion of Bhagavatam happens, there are three personalities who get purified. The speaker, the hearer, and the person who is asking questions. So thank you very much for giving me once again this opportunity to speak Bhagavatam. And of course, I know that I'm not able to do the proper justice. So that's why I request all the devotees, assembled Vaishnavas, prayers and blessings so that I can do this service properly. So in this particular verse, we see from the previous chapter that Maharaj Rahugana was being advised or giving instructions about the futility of this material world and how important is this devotion service for the living entity through an allegorical story, which is not being able to understand properly by Parikshit Maharaj. So that's why Parikshit Maharaj in return once again requesting Shukadeva Goswami, his spiritual master, oh my dear spiritual master, please give me the proper understanding of this. I'm not able to understand. Then Shukadeva Goswami gives a purport of all the allegorical story what he has given. Of course, Parikshit Maharaj could understand everything, but for the benefit of the Kali Yuga Jivas, they cannot understand these allegorical stories indirectly. So he's asking for the direct meaning. And then he starts, Shukadeva Goswami gives the giving the purport of the previous chapter. And this particular verse, which is there, verse number 29, 14th chapter, this is in relevant to the 16th verse of the previous chapter. So that sloka goes like this. Prasajati kwapi latabujishrayas tadashraya vaktapadadvijaspraha kvachit kadachit darichakra rastrisan sakyam vidatte bakakanka gridrehi. So the first two lines which are there, the first portion of the sloka is what I discussed yesterday. About how a living entity takes shelter of the wife and children and trying to be happy in this material world, which is not possible, and very nicely described by Prabhu yesterday. And the second portion of the verse is what today's sloka is. Kvachit kadachit dharichakratas trasan sakyam vidatte baka kanka gridraihi. Kvachit, sometimes, kadachit, somewhere. Dari chakratas. What is this chakra? That is given the translation of this verse. So let's read it. So translation states in the few lines. The personal weapon used by Lord Krishna, the disc, is called Hari Chakra. And what chakra is described in the previous verse sloka? There is a definition over here. Again given. And this is Hari Chakra. This chakra is the wheel of time. It expands from the beginning of the atoms up to the time of Brahma's death. And it controls all activities. It always revolving and spending the lives of the living entities from Lord Brahma down to the insignificant blade of grass. So for the next few minutes, let's describe this few portion of the translation. So what is this chakra? Wheel chakra, it's time, the eternal time. So what is it all about? How is controlling the activities in the whole universe, in fact the whole creation, how it is doing this? The same question is being asked by Vidura to Maitreya Muni. Oh, my spiritual master, Maitreya, please tell what is this time about. In 3rd canto, chapter 10, verse number 10. From there, the question starts. So he's asked, Vartata bahurupasya hare adbhuta karmana kalakyam lakshanam brahman yata varnyanaha prabho yatata bahurupasya. As you have already explained, Lord Hari, he has innumerable forms. And how these forms are? Adbhuta. These forms are very wonderful. And amongst those wonderful forms, Kalakyam, this Kala, the eternal time, is also one of the forms of the Lord. So what is this time? Please describe to me. And Lakshanam. So what are the symptoms of this time? O Brahmana, please describe about this. O Prabhu, O spiritual master, please describe. And then next sloka onwards, Maitreya speaks, giving the definition of this time. What are its symptoms? So what is this time? So what is the definition? Maitreya Muni says, this eternal time is the primal cause of the interactions of the 3 modes of material nature. So 3 modes of nature is there. And this time basically help the interaction of these 3 modes. And the further expansion of the universe, material nature. And what are the symptoms of this time? So first symptom is it is unchangeable. No one can change it. And it is limitless. There is no limit for this time. And how it is? And this time which is the eternal time, this is the impersonal feature of the Lord. Is described as Rupa. So Rupa means there should be some feature, generally we discuss. But this time is completely impersonal. Impersonal feature of the Lord. There is no form for it. And how does it work? It works as the instrument of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for his pastimes in the material creation. It works as an instrument. And from that particular verse, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, this time factor is the material cause of creation. So material creation which is there, for that the cause is the time. And of course we know the ultimate cause is Krishna. Sarva Karana Karanam. And for this material creation, the intermediate cause is this time. This time is the cause of the creation. And therefore, this time is known as self-expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same thing is being told. So this time, which creates the cosmic manifestation, and this is the superintendence that controls the cosmic manifestation. And that is what Krishna also telling, Maya dakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetunane kaudaya jagat viparivartate. And immediately in the 11th chapter, once again he says, Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravruddho. And this kala, which is this time, is me, myself, O Arjuna. I am that time. There is no difference between me and time. And of course, we don't know, we know this. There is no difference between the Lord and this creation, his time, everything. And there is a discussion happening in the first canto between Narada Muni and Vyasadeva. At that time, even Vyasadeva is telling the same thing. There is no difference between the universal form and the Lord. This universe, everything is his creation. So there is a telling, Idam hi Vishwam Bhagavan Ivetaraha. There is no difference between this manifested creation and the Lord himself. So if this we equal this equation, and we have seen this universe is not different from the Lord. And simultaneously we are seeing that Lord is not different from the time. So from these two equations we can tell this time is equal to universe and it is equal to the Lord. So there is no difference. Everything is one and the same. But simultaneously that is also different. So that is what our Siddhanta philosophy is. Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva. So this time which is there, the Skala Chakra is Lord himself and simultaneously not. Because this is being used as instrument in making this creation and also dissolution and maintaining it. And how this is nicely, how we can understand this. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, giving an example of a tape recorder. How the Lord and the creation time is same, but simultaneously different. How? So we have a tape recorder. If a person is speaking in the tape recorder, it is recorded. But this can be repeated again. But the person is not personally present. But through his voice, he is able to present there. So similarly, Lord and the time factor is also like this. Both are one and the same and simultaneously little different also there. So basically the thing is, this time is the incarnation of the Lord, the form of the Lord and acting under him. And in the translation we see, this time expands from the beginning of the atom to Brahma's death. How it is able to control this, right from the atom. For the next few minutes, we'll discuss about this. So what is the definition of atom? So we're discussing about atom, Brahma, we know Brahma, and atom also we know. And if we ask Maitreya Muni is giving the definition of this atom also. So what is the definition of atom? Charama swavideshana maneko samyata sada paramanu savikneyo nrina maikya brahmo yataha. So what is this atom? The material manifestation's ultimate particle, which is indivisible and not formed into a body, is called the atom. So which we already studied in our school days also. This is the smallest atom particle which is there in the universe, which starts the combination of bodies and starts. The smallest particle in the creation. And that is atom. That is what he is also telling Maitreya Muni. And how the bodies are made? By the combination of these atoms. By the combination of these atoms, various molecules of the body is made up of. And that is what even the modern science also proves. It's basically Prabhupada writes, even the modern science is also accepting this thing. So to know more, one has to read Kanada's that book which is there in detail to understand more about these atom molecules in essentially. So now we understood the atom. So how to estimate the time of this atom? So what is relation? Then Maitreya Muni says, one can estimate the time by measuring the moment of the atomic combinations of the bodies. So this time is measured in terms of covering a certain space of atoms. So general standard time is calculated in the moment of sun. That is what we know. And the time covered by sun in passing over an atom is called atomic time. So this is atomic time. So what is Maha time or Mahakal or the greatest time? So the greatest time of all covers the entire existence of the non-dual substance manifestation. Generally covering means we understand in the form of space. Now this laptop is covering this space. This is considered like this. Similar atom is there. That is also occupies some space. So generally here time and space are co-relative terms. Both are used in relatively. And how this time, so starting from the time, atom. So how the whole cycle of time will discuss till the time of Brahma starting from the atom. Suppose, as we discussed about atom, so there are two atoms. When two atoms are combined, it becomes double atom. When three pairs of double atoms, they combine, it becomes hexatom. Hexatom. In Sanskrit, it's known as Trasarenu. Trasarenu. And this Trasarenu is what six atoms combined together, is what we can see when sunlight passes through the window. We all can see particles, right? So that is known as Trasarenu, which can be seen. But the atom which is individual atom is there, single atom, that we cannot see. But this we are able to see. And this three Trisarenus, one Trisarenu understood, hexatom, and this one Trisarenu is equal to six atoms. And this three Trisarenus is equal to one Truti. These are Vedic terms of the calculation of time. And 100 such Trutis is equal to one Veda. And that one Veda, it becomes one lava. So in detail, in purport, Prabhupada giving a detailed description of this. If we divide 1 second in 1687.5 parts, 1 second into 1687.5 parts, and that each part is equal to Truti. That is the definition of Truti. And three Vedas, that Truti understood. Three Trasarenus, one Truti, and 100 such Truti is equal to one Veda, and three Vedas is equal to one Lava. And such three Lavas will be equal to one Nimisha. And three Nimishas is equal to one Kshana. And 5 Kshanas is equal to one Kasta. And like that, 15 Kastas is equal to one Lagu. Now we are coming to, these are Vedic terms. Now coming to our human terms, which we can understand. And this one Lagu is equal to 2 minutes. From now we can understand. We can remember this. One Lagu is equal to 2 minutes. So similarly, 15 Lagus is equal to how many minutes? 30 minutes. In Sanskrit terms, that 30 minutes, half an hour is equal to one Nadika or one Danda. And 2 Dandas is equal to Muhurt. That is 1 hour. And 6 or 7 Dandas or 6 or 7 half an hours is equal to 3/4 of the day. That is 1/4 of a day. And this quarter is known as, in Sanskrit, is Praharas. So there are 4 Praharas in a day and 4 Praharas in the night. So it completes 24 hours. So this is about a day for human beings. Now cycle goes, the time goes little more upwards. The aggregate of 2 fortnights. So this is 1 day, 12 hours, 12 hours. And 1 fortnight means 15 days. So 2 15 days is equal to 30 days. That is 1 month. So this 1 month is equal to 1 day on Pita planets. So it's described here in the translation. So time is controlling from one atom to Brahmas. So trying to study from one atom to slow going to Brahma's planet to understand the life cycle. And this 1 month is equal to 1 day of Pita planets. And 2 such months are comprised 1 season, we know this. And 2 months, 1 season, like 6 seasons. Means 12 months. This 12 months is equal to 1 year. Basically 2 solar movements, like how sun is there in the southern hemisphere, it comes to northern hemisphere. And after northern hemisphere, it goes to southern hemisphere once again. So this one hemisphere is almost equal to 6 months. And 2 hemispheres, 1 year. This is a human calculation. And in this way, a human beings live for 100 such years. Now Vidra is asking, after telling all this stuff by Maitreya, Vidra is asking further enquiries. So, oh my dear spiritual master, now I understood the life of the residents on this human planet and also on the Pita planets and also on the heavenly planets. Now you tell me, please explain me the life of a Brahma. How the lifespan of Brahma on there in these planets. Then next immediately Maitreya for this he starts explaining further explanation of the lifespan. and it comes to the yuga of this earthly planet. There are 4 yugas we have, 4 millenniums: Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali Yuga. So age of Kali Yuga is 4,32,000 years. So let's take this as X. We have here heard this Kala Chakra thing. Let's revise once again to understand this in a better way. So let's take this X. So it's double of Kali Yuga is Dwapara Yuga, that is 2x. And next, adding one more x, it becomes Treta Yuga, 3x. And one more x, Satya Yuga. So if you add all this, how many x will come? 10x. So this 10 into 4,32,000 years. So it is equal to, it was 4 lakh before, now it becomes 43 lakhs. 43 lakhs, 20,000 years. This is the span of one full Divya Yuga. In detail, little more explained that 360, so 1 year in the demigod planets, their 1 year is equal to 360 years here. So initial calculation we know very well. So here 6 months is equal to 1 day there in the heavenly planets. So if we take in that calculation, their 1 year is equal to 360 years here. So the calculation is going higher. And like that, the total lifespan of the whole, if we take 360 years of income, and take and in between the changing of a day, so 43 lakh 20,000 years is equal to one Divya Yuga. 4 yugas combined. And like this, there are 71 Divya Yugas. That is 71 Divya Yugas is equal to one Manvantara. So like this, 14 Manvantaras. So this whole is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. That is 1 day of Brahma is equal to 1 Kalpa. So in 1 day of Brahma, there are 14 Manvantaras. That is 14 Manus. And next, so day is done and night is coming up. So there is Sandhya also, evening time. And that is equal to 4x. 4 into 4,30,000 years. So we can take this. And 1 Sandhya is equal to 4x. So like this, if we combine everything, so 1 day of Brahma is equal to how much? Into 1000 we'll put. So 1 day of Brahma is equal to 43.2 crore years. This 1 day of Brahma. So like this, Brahma lives for 30 days in a month. 1 year, that is 365. Let's reduce to 360 approximately. Like this, he lives for 100 years. So 100 into 360 into 43 crore years. And twice, day and night, 2 into 2. So it becomes 311 trillion 0.04 years. So this is the life of Brahma. Understanding? So time of an atom to time of Brahma. We have come till here. So what's happening? Now we understood the time. So how it is calculated. But this time also controls. So how it is controlling? By devastating or by destruction. So when there is a creation, there is destruction also. So one of the destruction we can see in our body itself. We are young. Now we'll become old. The atoms are destroying, the cells are being destroyed. So the lifespan of a person is also destroyed. If we take the yugas, the dharma which is followed, religious principles which are followed in Satya Yuga, they're 100%. So later 1% is reduced to 75%. Then even more less. Then even more less in the Kali Yuga. So the dharma is also being destroyed. So our lifespan is destroying. And even this is also being destroyed. Dharma is also destroying. So finally, what is the conclusion from understanding all this time span? So Maitreya is speaking. What is this conclusion after understanding this? Kaloyam paramanadir dviparardanta ishvaraha naiveshutum pravur brahma ishvaro dhama maninam. So Maitreya Muni is telling this eternal time which is we are discussing till now, that controls in different dimensions from the atom even to Brahma. So everyone is controlled by this chakra. And this chakra is controlled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the conclusion is this, understanding all this stuff. So time is very expanded with this incarnation of the Lord personal, and it is controlled by the Lord personally. So finally, even Brahma, who can have such a wonderful lifespan, he also has to face death one day. 43 trillion years. So he also has to face death one day. So understanding all this, what to be done then? So all the description which I told is as mentioned in the translation. How time expands and controls everyone's life. So we also are going to die one day. And this whole life of Brahma is described as one flashlight of Mahavishnu. Just when Mahavishnu closes his eyes, everything is finished. All the universes come inside the body of Mahavishnu and comes out. It just happens in just a flash. How we blink our eyes. It just happens like that. And in that sense, how a human form of life should be used properly. Because anytime anything can happen. We don't know. So it describes 100 years. Now how long a person is living, a human being. Anytime he is going to die. And recently we know one of our devotees' cousin, he faced death in an accident. And he is just 24 years old. So here we need not calculate keeping 100 as a standard. Anytime we can die. So there is no possibility that we can die only after 100 years. There is no possibility. Anytime we can die. So that's why this human life is given a lot of importance. Even the animals also have the same amount of time, what I would describe, prescribed for them. But it is not given much importance for the animals. By which so much of importance is given to the human form of life. Because only in this human form of life one can attain the perfection, attain the goal of Krishna Prema. And this is what the theme is, the entire Bhagavatam. How this human form of life is very, very important and very rare. And same lessons is being given to Rupa Goswami by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Repeating the same point again and again. How this human form of life is very rare and how important it is. And the only way to attain Krishna is through devotional service, which can be performed very nicely in the human form of life, especially in the age of Kali. Even Brahma and other demigods are praying that, oh Lord, if possible, please give us birth in the age of Kali in the form of a human being, so that easily one can attain Krishna in this human form of life. How important is this? This is human form of life. It's mentioned in various slokas in Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, various slokas. So we'll try to see few of them, which are very important. So there's a nice sloka from 11th canto, chapter 9, verse number 29. Ladva sudurlabam idam bahu sambhavante manusyamartatam anityam apiha dhira turnam yate tanapate tanumrityu yavat nishreyasaya vishayaha kalu sarvatasyat. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur, when he's in Vrindavan, he's not talking about Radharani or Krishna pastimes to his disciples. He's talking about this sloka, pointing out this sloka only. And Srila Prabhupada in his lectures number of times repeats this sloka very nicely again and again. So this says this is an important sloka to memorize and also to discuss upon this. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur is discussing about the sloka to his disciples. How this human form of life is very, very rare. How rare it is? Labdha means profit. Durlabha means difficult or rare. Sudurlabha means very, very rare. So this form of life is very rare, very rare. Idam bahu sambhavante. Bahu means many. Sambhava means repetition of birth, death, old age, disease, death. Bahu sambhavante means repeated number of times. After taking this cycle of birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease. After taking many, many lifetimes, suffering in the human animal species of life, finally one gets this human form of life, labdva, which is sudurlabha, which is very, very rare. And what is that? Manushyam. And this human form of life is how? Arthadam. Anartha means no value, no meaning, useless. And this human form of life is Arthadam, very useful, which has a meaning for it. And how this human form of life is? Anityam. It is meaningful, but anityam. Anytime it can destroy. It's not permanent, it's temporary. So after understanding what we want to do, Anityam apihadiraha adhira, a sober person. What he should do? Turnam, immediately. Yatet napatet anumrityavat nishreyasaya visha kalu sarvatasyas. He should strive, endeavor for the perfection of life. And if he's not doing, he's engaged in sense gratification, just like other animals. What is he gaining? Nothing. He is gaining nothing. So Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur would read this sloka, cry, "O disciples, please wake up. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varanya Bodhata." This human form of life we have got with tears in his eyes is speaking to his disciples. Please utilize, don't be in the lap of Maya. Please wake up. Jiva Jagu, Jiva Jagu. Please utilize this form of life nicely and attain the human destination of Krishna Prema. And not just this sloka, in many other slokas. In 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse number 17, this says, Nideha madhyam sulabam sudurlabam, plavam sukalpam guru karnadaram, mayanukule navasvateritam, puman bhavabdim naterite sa atmaha. So this human form of life is compared to a boat on the ocean. And who is the captain of this boat? Guru Karnadaram is the spiritual master. The Acharya who is there, he is driving this boat. And the Vedic scriptures which are there, they are like favorable winds. Even after getting this human form of life, the boat and the spiritual master is driving it. But still, if a person is not attaining the perfection, the love of Godhead, what is the use? He is doing just sa atmaha, he is just committing suicide and nothing else. And how more important this human form of life is. The devotional services. Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumaram acharet pragyo dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma tati api adruvam artadam. Now we understood the meanings. Durlabam, artadam, anityam. So this is what same repeated by Prahlad Maharaj also. This human form of life is very, very important to attain the goal of life, Krishna Prema. One should not waste. So what one should do? Kaumaram acharit. From age of 5 years, one has to start practicing bhakti. Come in touch with Krishna. And if one is not doing so, what happens? Is just wasting his human form of life. If one who does not know the importance of life, so what he does? Just engage in sense gratification. Taking shelter of the family members. So that is what the previous sloka is. So it's trying to get happiness in this human form of life. So I'll try to read the translation once again. Sometimes the conditioned soul is attracted by illusion personified, that is wife or girlfriend, and becomes eager to be embraced by a woman. Thus he loses his intelligence as well as knowledge of life's goal. Even though he has a goal in life, but when he comes in touch with a woman, his life's goal is lost because he will lose his intelligence. And he will be trying to be happy in this material world by in the connection, in relationship with the wife and the children. So which is not possible. So in this way, he wastes his whole life. And finally, he'll understand that I'm going to face death. At that time, he wants to get rescued from the death. So he tries to take shelter of someone who can save him from death. But unfortunately, he does not know that Krishna is the one who gives him protection from death. Since lack of this knowledge, what happens? He'll take the same shelter of his family members and other bogus gurus, which Prabhupada is mentioning in this particular verse. But Prahlad Maharaj says very nicely, he's praying to the Nrsimhadev. She's telling, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro nrsimha natasya chagdam udavanti majottanahu tapjasya tat pravriddhir yaha iyanjatestas tavad vibho tanubritam tad upekshitanam. So after coming at the point of death, a person tries to take shelter who can save him from the death. He tries to take shelter of his family members. But Prahlad Maharaj is clearly mentioning here, oh Lord, if you are not giving protection, who can save? That is what in the purport Srila Prabhupada also writes. Harim vina naiva stritrim taranti. So one cannot be saved from the hands of death without being favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prahlad says there are three categories a person depends on to get away from death. So first thing is parents, we can just consider in general as a bodily relationships. He's trying to get shelter from them, but they cannot save him. And next is medicine, and next is physician. A person cannot be saved from death from these various categories until unless he is protected by the Lord. So he cannot be saved from the Lord, death. So he takes shelter of them. So even if understand these people cannot save me, then he'll take a shelter of bogus gurus who are there. And these bogus gurus, how they're compared like? These bogus gurus are compared like buzzards, vultures, crows, herons. Very dangerous animals these are. Very dangerous. As Prabhu was nicely mentioning in one of the classes, how these bogus gurus are. So there is a nice story. So there was a crane is doing meditation on one leg in the water, and the crabs came. And next Vish is also looking at this crab. So why is doing this meditation on one leg? What's the problem with him? And these frogs and crabs asked that crane, so why are you doing this meditation? Then he told, so in my meditation yesterday, in the dream, I got a dream, this pond which is there in which all of you are living will be dried up one day. So all of you will die. Then with anxiousness, all these aquatics which are there asking, then what should be done? What is the solution? Then crane will again close his eyes in his meditation will tell, there is a big river which is there, lake kind of big ocean of water. So there you can be transferred, there you can stay. They will not face death. Then he told, thus what is the solution then? Who will take us there? Then Kiran, I am there now. I can take you there. So, but I can take only one of you per day. Then everyone agreed for the deal. And Crane thought, okay, let me take. So he took one fish in the beak and went there and came back again on the next day. And in this way it's going on. He's taking one fish to the other lake. In the mind of the other aquatics who are there. So they were thinking this crane is saving us. But what this crane is doing, taking to the other place, killing those fishes and eating them up. And finally the turn came to the crab. And crab also caught hold of the crane. So the crane is taking crab to the other river, other side where the lot of water is there. And this crane, this is going on a proper way, but it took the diversion and is about to hit a rock over there. And crab from the air he could understand. He is able to see that crane is able to see some bones, some flesh fell down over there. Then this crab understood, this person is going to kill me, he is not the right person. Then with his fingers, he got the hold of neck of that crane. And because of a lot of lack of breath, the crane dies. And this crab comes back to the pond and tells this is what happened is. So basically what you're understanding, so these bogus gurus who are there, they're like just like these cranes. They give a word that I'll give the best happiness or solve your problems, whatever it is. But indirectly, so what they are doing, they are not giving any benefit. Instead of not giving any benefit, they are degrading their life, the general people's life. Through this example, we can understand. And there are many, many false gurus who are there in the present generation. Many, many. We can see in YouTube, we can find many. So this was the case even during the times of even Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So I am just trying to understand what Prabhupada has given the purport and translation. Is there any relevant which we can discuss? And it is there. So there was during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so there was a false yogi whose name is Bisaksena. So why I am bringing this story now? So one of our FY students also, so in the last Saturday he was asking about, so I got some discussion. Then he got up this name. This Bisaksena is also incarnation of the Lord. So it's very famous in Orissa. Now is there during Bhakti Vinod time. Bhakti Vinod time. Still is popular now. Means how popular these people are. Hmm. Diverting the people. Hmm. So how this Pisaksena proclaimed himself as the incarnation of Mahavishnu. Hmm. And is a great mystic yogi. He does various magics and people believed in them. Hmm. So what are the various magics he does? So sometimes what he does, there is a fire. He'll sit in front of erect and he'll lean into that fire and he comes out and there is no damage on his body. And people will get amused because of this. And many people who come with a disease, he would cure all the disease from the people. And people automatically generally who doesn't read scriptures properly automatically get diverted because of this. And they accepted this Bisakshan as really the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And these people and this Bisakshana also established a temple in the near to the village known as Saradaipur. So this all happening in the premises of Puri. All this nonsense. And this person Bishakshan also released some books, unauthorized scriptures. So in these books it's mentioned. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reborn again in the form of Bisakshan. So these people who are read the scripture, they'll also accept, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came again, Mahavishnu came again. And sometimes this Bisakshan wants to enjoy women. And he would tell to the villagers, the leaders of the villagers, that so now I'm going to perform Rasa Leela. Send some women. And these great leaders also would send some women. But what happened? In that same course of time, this Bisakshan has also had a sexual relationship with the wives of the government leaders who were there. And these government leaders got to know, this person is a dongi. This is not the right. And they went and kept the case in the government. And the person who is there at the time is Mr. Ranesha. So he's an English district commissioner. He got to know this case. This is a dongi Baba. It's not the real thing. Please somehow annihilate from here. And this case was given to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur took up the case. And one night he, along with other constables, policemen, he went there in the jungle where this person is staying. And there are thousands of people who are there. Who wants to get, who is giving a lot of praises to this bogus incarnation, Bisakshan. And all the policemen came along with Bhaktivinoda Thakur. By looking at them, some people ran away. Those who are sitting over there. So these people came to do something. And he told Bhaktivinoda Thakur, "Oh Bisakshan, please give up this. We came to arrest you." And this person, Bisakshan, started showing his various magic tricks. Flame coming out is from his eyes. Snakes coming out from his hair. In many ways. He's showing so many mystic things. And the policemen who are there, they are getting feared, scared of this. It's a great mistake. Maybe really Lord only. They are also getting scared. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is completely fixed in Siddhanta, is not bothered about all these stuffs. Very lot of discussion later, what happened? He got hold of this Bisakshan, put it into the cart, went to the court. So for 18 days, this case was being done. And in between is warning this Bisakshan, the bogus guru, the incarnation, is warning Bhaktivinoda. Bhaktivinoda, leave this place and go away. Leave this case. Or else you'll face many negative reciprocations in your house and you for yourself. So at that time, the younger daughter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, she was very much ill. And his wife is telling to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhagavati Devi, oh my dear husband, please, oh my lord, please leave this case. See, our children are suffering because of this case, please leave him. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, no matter what it is, let us die, but these people shouldn't be here. We have to go against these people. And this is the mood of Prabhupada also. So you can see the last line of the purport. Prabhupada is telling. So this is very difficult for us to propagate this movement. But still, Prabhupada said, in any case, we cannot accept the unauthorized ways of so-called incarnations, gods, cheaters and bluffers, who are described here as crows, vultures and buzzards and herons. Same thing is telling here, taking the mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a full confidence that Krishna will protect. And later that day morning, 8 o'clock, the little daughter of Bhaktivinoda says she's away from the fever. She was completely fine because Krishna is taking care of her. At the 17th day, maybe, Thakur got so much ill. The final day of the judgment. He don't know whether he can go or not. Then all the devotees are praying for him. All the priests. So by little bit his improvement in the health happened and he came to the court and finally the judgment was came. So this Bisakshan who is there, bogus incarnation, he should be kept in the jail for 18 months and should be given punished. And during that time when the person, this Bisakshan is coming out from the court, being dragged from the court, and immediately one person got up there, this English doctor, he cut off his hair completely, Vishakshan. So it's mentioned that the mystic powers of these mystic yogis sometimes will be there in their hair also. And this person got to know. He cut off all hair. And after that, he lost us all his power. His mystic yoga, whatever he's doing, his gymnastics, everything is stored in his hair. And everything was cut off. And finally, he almost dead. He's not able to move also because he lost his power. And after looking at him, the general public, most of them understand, yeah, this bogus person, by shaving off his hair, he lost his all power. How can he be a god then? Many people lost hope on this person also. Then understood this is a bogus person. He is not the real person. So finally, the thing is, by taking the shelter of these bogus gurus, one cannot attain the life success. They will be cheated. In the previous verse, this is what the conclusion Prabhupada is writing. 20, I think 13th of this 13th chapter, verse number 16. So there Prabhupada writes, finally, the spirit soul who is their conditioned living entity in this material forest of existence is taking the shelter of the family members and is taking the shelter of the false gurus. By taking both their shelter, he is not taking the shelter of the Lord. So finally, his life is wasted completely because of taking shelter of the family members and taking the shelter of these bogus gurus. And that is what Prabhupada is telling finally. There is no use of these bogus gurus and one's life will be wasted. So what one should do? So one should surrender to the Lord. How one can surrender to the Lord? By surrendering to the pure devotee of the Lord, who is a bona fide guru, following the scriptures, who has also a guru. So by surrendering to a guru, then he can be saved from the clutches of death. Or else there is no question of anyone being saved from the clutches of death. And we have many examples. Like we have His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, we have seen in recent days. In Maharaj Prabhu was telling, Kamal Lochan Prabhu was an astrologist also, it seems. He gave this astrological chart to Maharaj. Maharaj, please don't go out. These 3 days are very difficult for you. And Maharaj told, if I don't go, how? The meeting is happening. So the big meeting is happening. If I don't go, how? And few days before that, so he went to Vrindavan. He's telling all this, some of his disciples that this is the place where my samadhi has to be made. Means they are not least affected by death. They are least affected. Because they are in the complete surrender to Srila Prabhupada. And they completely surrender to the Lord. And they know where they are going to the spiritual world. There is no fear of death. And next we know Kadamba Kanana Swami Maharaj. At the last few days, he made a video. So I'm going to that side. We'll meet over there. So just follow what Prabhupada has given. Chant 16 rounds attentively. Follow 4 regulative principles. We can go back to the spiritual world. And he's not at all scared at all. He's not at all scared because of death. So what happens? One has to surrender to the Lord and become pure devotee of the Lord. When one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, then he is not scared of death. Because death is for sure. Everyone has to face death one day. One day one has to face. And if he's not becoming pure devotee, in the case of pure devotees, we know. In the case of materialists also, we know. They go to hell. And pure devotees go to spiritual world. But what about the people in between? Those who are sadhakas, what should we do? Should we be scared of death or not? Yes, we should be scared of death. One day we are going to get death. So what is the next life? We don't know. Again, we have to take one second birth if we are not become pure devotees. So one should be always attentive of the time of death. So next moment, anytime death can come. So let me practice bhakti very nicely and become pure devotee. Only when one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, he can do nice service and nice preaching. And we can see all the sannyasis, Maharajas here. So it is just their purity. They are inspiring millions of people all over the world, by just looking at them, by just looking at taking their instructions. So the conclusion is one has to do understanding the importance of this human form of life that don't know when this will end up. So let practice bhakti nicely without getting deviated to bogus gurus. Just surrender to bona fide guru and make this life successful and help others also to make their life successful. Okay. So with this, I like to conclude today's discussion. Hare Krishna. It's all time up. We can discuss during prasadam. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की.